It's Monday morning with special guest from Broadways Ain't Too Proud, Clayton Cornelious. And here's your host of Monday morning, Mr. T.
Happy Monday, everyone. It's Monday morning, June 15th. I'm Mr. Tipple. Hope everyone had a wonderful week. I'm again sitting outside at my apartment complex with a nice hot cup of coffee because I need it this morning because it is a brisk June morning. And it's June and I actually have my jacket on, but it's very lovely. It's quiet right now. The birds are singing. It's just a lovely day, just a lovely morning just to sit outside. And today's special guest is Clayton Cornelious from the Broadway musical Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Time of the Temptations. Now, I'm hoping most of you have heard who the Temptations are. If not, actually, go do a little research. They were a group formed actually from two rival groups in Detroit to create the Temptations that were big in the 60s and 70s, and they actually still perform today. There's still one original surviving member, Otis Williams, and there's been over 20 members throughout the history of the Temptations. And you probably have heard their music in some fashion, whether it was in a commercial, a movie, in the restaurant, somewhere you probably heard their music. Their most popular song is My Girl. Talking about my girl, my girl. They were said to have the hugest influence on Motown and R&B like Beatles did in pop and rock. So make sure, if you don't know who they are, go look them up, and I'm sure you've heard their music somewhere. So without further ado, here is our interview that we had last week via Zoom with Clayton Cornelious.
Everyone, let's welcome Clayton Cornelious to Monday morning. Say hi to everyone.
Hello, everybody. I got my Ain't Too Proud shirt on.
Yes, he's tell him what you're doing in Ain't Too Proud.
I'm currently in the Broadway hit Ain't Too Proud. I play what we call Richard Street. So I play 8 different characters in the show. So I am the ATP's funny guy. So I play 7 different characters in the first act, and I play my temptation in the second act. There you go.
And speaking of Ain't Too Proud, that's how Clay and I met initially, because they were teching Ain't Too Proud in Bloomington and in Indiana right before their pre-Broadway tour, before they actually went to Broadway. So that's how we initially met. So I've seen the show, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. I can't remember now. I've kind of lost count. So it's a great show. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you go see it. So tell everyone a little bit about your background and how you kind of ended up in your career and what you're doing today.
Background. Started out in 4th grade doing, let's take it all the way back. 4th grade playing instruments. I played 5 instruments, got up to...
5 instruments? No. What 5 instruments did you play?
I started off with the flute, obviously piccolo. You gotta play the piccolo if you're playing the flute.
Okay.
And then I started learning piano. And then after that, when I got to grade school, I was the only boy in the flute section. So they,
of course,
transferred me over to saxophone. So I played alto sax. And then I went from alto sax to playing a little bit of the oboe, actually.
Oh, which is a hard instrument to play.
Very hard instrument to play.
Yeah.
I played it for like maybe 1 year, and I was like, I'm done with this. And I played, I tried my hand at trombone. That was of Music Man. I was in the Music Man revival on Broadway, and we all had to play the trombone. So I don't count that, but I say. So there you go.
There you go. So you played 5 instruments. Were you in choir?
I was in choir. I did all the singing. I did all the things until I got to high school, and I did my first play and my first musical, and then I caught the bug.
You caught the bug.
I caught the bug, and then I was trying to decide whether I wanted to go to college. I got accepted to 3 different colleges, one for music education, one for musical theater, and one for business. And I chose music theater.
Now we know which way. So what was your first, professional show?
Oh, my first equity show was in Connecticut. I worked as a non-union actor in my own hometown of Pittsburgh, PA, where I went to school at Point Park University. And then I was auditioning for shows in New York when I was still in college. I ended up getting a non-union tour. I did a few. And then my first equity show was a chorus line with Mitzi Hamilton at Bridgeport Dinner Theater in Connecticut. It no longer exists, but it gave me my equity. So,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
And what was your first Broadway show?
My first Broadway show was Cat and the Kings in 99.
Cat and the King. I'm not familiar with that show.
See, you got to look it up. There's always
Cat and the King.
See, even Mr. T is learning here.
And how many Broadway shows have you done?
I've done 8 thus far.
8. So
Yeah.
Ain't Too Proud's your 8th.
8th Broadway show.
Okay. And what's been your favorite show so far? Whether it was community theater or amateur, professional, equity, Broadway.
You know, I'm gonna say it's a ringer between my first Broadway show, which was Cat and the Kings. It was a South African show that ended up going to London. They won a whole bunch of Olivier Awards, and then they came to New York. But also Wonderland, Frank Wildhorn's Wonderland. If anybody knows what that show is, it was 2011. We did a re-adaptation of a modern Alice in Wonderland, and I played the caterpillar. So that was my first leading role on Broadway, and it was wonderful. And words can't describe how I feel about that show. So.
Just when you learn the tune, it's time to modulate. Razzmatazz are rearranging. When the melody is simple and don't complicate.
It seems to me you only have a riddle and never answer me at all.
The more they say the same, from a distance you look smaller, but you're just as tall. Where you are, repeat the question. Are you prepared to tell me what you're looking for? Well, then here's my suggestion. If you can't see what's in front of you, then look
What have you been doing as an artist to kind of like stay connected during this whole like COVID-19 pandemic? Since Broadway's closed, how are you keeping yourself busy? How are you staying connected to being an artist? Yeah.
Well, it's been good to have a break a little bit
Mhm.
from it because my whole world was theater. But I am staying connected by doing interviews like this with you, with people like yourself. And I've been doing a lot of videos. I'm sure everyone has seen maybe like the Chorus Line Challenge, which I was a part of.
I put that in one of my Monday mornings.
Okay.
It was my segment I only do occasionally. It's called What's the Tea?
Gotcha.
Yeah. I know it's so stupid.
But yeah,
It's fun.
I was a part of that challenge, and the New York Post and the Associated Press has done a piece on me, which is nice. I have a publicist, so she calls me to do all different types of videos for organizations. So I've been singing and doing things of that nature all the time with different organizations.
And on TV, on little boxes, as we call it, the little.
Yes.
We're all in little boxes right now.
Exactly. All my shows have been doing it. Ain't Too Proud. The gospel choir that I belong to in New York, BIV, Broadway Inspirational Voices, we did a You Will Be Found, which I think I sent you.
I think yes.
Yeah. So I was in my little box.
My kid just did a You Will Be Found too. Our students did.
Yeah.
In our little boxes. Yes. Mm-hmm. So what's your favorite part of the process of getting a show on Broadway? What is like the favorite part? I mean, is there part of the process that you really enjoy?
I do. I'm known for, just like I told you, I play different roles in my show. I kind of am known as like the silly nut usually, and in every show. And I have had the honor to be a part of a lot of original casts. So I am that person that loves to create. So I love to create different characters. I like to just try anything. I like that process. I like the process of like workshop, rehearsal, that kind of thing. So
Like discovering your
is like a 2 or 3 week or maybe even 4 week process that we do. It's all Broadway actors come together, is how to put the show up in a studio, and we mark out the set on the floor, and we kind of go through the show and sort of create it on its feet. And that's kind of what I like to do.
kind of find the fun part, workshopping it, finding that character, finding your character. Yeah. What do you, as an artist, how do you feel music has an impact on our world? Whether it certainly has an influence on things that have happened in our history, like in world wars, civil rights movement, even currently with the Black Lives Matter. How does music influence us as a society, as humans, in moments like that?
I think music actually is the key. Like, the only way we are actually communicating right now is through music, is through people performing via the little boxes. But it's what's sort of keeping our spirits up. And even through Black Lives Matter, you see people sort of singing, the Negro National Anthem and doing different takes on it, modern takes on it. And I bet, there are some songs that are going on right now, even in the top 40, which everybody's going to remember, just because if they're going to connect it to this summer of 2020 and this whole Black Lives Matter, COVID, all of it. You know what I mean? We're going to have music as a connection of where you are in time. So.
Yeah, and it's definitely a language. Music is its own language, and it's definitely connecting to that music and that being authentic when you're. I think music is an authentic language. What's been your biggest inspiration in your career? Like, it could be a mentor or a family member or a teacher.
Well, I always say my dad. He was one probably like he died in 2015, but he always sort of taught me the business side of thing. He was a big business guy, so I know that in my career I'm sort of known as sort of like having my stuff together and really being good at my money and financials. And I think a lot of people forget, even though we are creating and then we are creators and we're singers and we're actors, and we do forget that it is a business as well. So in order to keep it going, what Taraji P. Henry would say, it's a business show, not show business. So business show.
So learn how to manage your business.
Exactly. Yeah. Manage your business within your creative world.
Yeah, right. I think that's important with everybody. Who was your favorite teacher?
In where?
It could be elementary, any teacher. Who was your favorite teacher? Why were they your favorite teacher?
I think it was my 3rd grade teacher, and she just loved me. I was always sort of like the class clown though, because my desk was always like in the corner, like always off to the side. It was never with the class. But I just remember her always bringing in treats and stuff for me. Like, oh,
for you?
Yeah.
Just for you?
Just for me.
Of course. So you were teacher's pet then. Okay. I get it.
Yeah. But no, I actually, you know what, to tell you the truth, in high school, he's so near and dear to my heart. My musical director, he was the director of the band, of the marching band. And he really sort of taught me a lot about theater, taught me a lot about the work ethic in theater, and he loves it so much. He comes up every year to New York around Thanksgiving, his wife, and his 2 friends.
Isn't there like a group of you that like get together?
That's
okay.
That's them. And so they've seen me in every show that I've done.
Okay.
Still, and I graduated from high school, and you don't want to talk about that date.
Who's your favorite artist? Like, it can be any kind of artist. It could just
I don't know. I would have to say Beyonce. The black people love Beyonce. Beyonce, maybe Audra. I really like.
Oh, Audra McDonald.
You know what?
Mhm.
I love and hate her all at the same time.
Why love hate for Audra?
I don't know, because
Okay.
you know what? I'm gonna rephrase that. I like her gumption and her ambition. Like, she goes after everything.
Yes.
And attacks it 100%, regardless of if we, the people, think she's right for whatever role that she's doing or not. Because, like, she's, in my opinion, she has been in some roles where I'm like, interesting. But I admire her for always attacking.
Doing it 100%. I love Audra.
She gets it done. You know what I mean? She really gets it
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And why Beyonce? I'm just curious.
I think she's just freaking amazing. Like, she's
Just-
amazing because she, again, we're talking about, making yourself something, out of.
Mhm.
We saw the small beginnings of Beyonce, and she truly has made herself into an iconic figure. So
It's true.
I love that girl. Like, I think she can really do no wrong. She's another one that kind of like gives it 100%. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
That's why I like her.
That's how I think about Michael Jackson. I just thought he was a great performer, and
That's right. Yeah.
I love him. Love Michael Jackson. I'm a huge Dolly Parton fan. She's a great
Come
performer.
on, Dolly is amazing. Dolly.
Nittler.
Using Dolly for these little Broadway videos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We just used her for BIV. She did like a little segment.
Did she really? I want to check
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love Dolly.
Yeah.
And
And then she's
that-
on RuPaul's Drag Race like all the time. Have you
Was she on?
watched it?
I didn't know she was on RuPaul's Drag Race. Well, everybody like impersonates her anyway, so
Right,
why
exactly.
not?
Exactly. So yeah.
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
And I love Bette Midler. I think those are like some of my top like performers that I.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So getting to, you talked about with Beyonce and Audra, how they just give it 100%. And of course, getting to any point in, if you want to be good at anything, whether it's sport or somewhere in the arts or whatever career you choose, it takes a lot of hard work. So what have you learned through your career? So what advice would you give somebody starting off or wanting to go on Broadway or to become a Broadway actor? What have you learned through the process, and what advice would you give someone that's just starting off?
The one thing that I do say to a lot of young artists is be yourself. And a lot of people listen to this artist or that artist, or they love that musical or whatever, and they're listening to that, and they're trying to emulate sort of the person that they admire, which is great. I've done it myself. But there comes a time where you have to sort of own who you are. And that is really truly knowing oneself. And you have to be yourself, because when you start going into that room and auditioning, there's got to be a reason why they pick you and not you being somebody else, So I make sure that if I do give advice out to young artists, I always say, be yourself. There was a few times in an audition where I wanted to stick out, because when you get to a certain level, everyone is good in the room. It's how do I make them see me?
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody did one thing, I would totally do something else. You know what I mean? So I made myself stick out in my own way, and I was myself. So, and I think that's the most valuable advice I can give to anybody is be yourself.
Be yourself, which, I mean, that's true in any career you choose.
Yeah.
You have to be yourself, be your authentic self. Yeah.
If you're quirky, be quirky. If you're quiet, be quiet. But just come at it with a zing or something, and be yourself, be your authentic self, because it's going to work.
Yes, I am who I am. Da, da, da. Is there like one song that has inspired you, makes you laugh, makes you bring you joy, make you want to dance, that you and why?
I was just in the car singing the other day. Every time it comes on, I just love her voice on it. It's Celine Dion singing By Myself.
Morning with us this week. Do you have anything else you'd love to share with us today?
Stay home and stay safe.
Stay home and stay safe. It's a good plan. Yeah.
Normal life. Mwah.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, we'll see you next week on the next episode of Monday Morning. I'll see you later. Ciao.
Bye. His blood still works.
What kind of title is that? His blood still.
but I thought he was singing with Alexa because we were that fun.
He still does that too.